Hello, Junior Genius. We solve mysteries. Huh? Who? A famous fortune teller? Sounds like another mystery to me. The Himmaphan forest? Hold on a second. Let me take some notes. I've never heard of it before. Where? Malaysia? Yes, I knew Kuala Lumpur. 2 hours north of there. Yes, so what's so big about it? Magical staircase? Secret teachings? Yeah. I think I could be there. It's going to take me maybe 6 hours to drive. Perfect. Send me the details to my email, and I'll leave fresh in the morning. Great. Thank you. Bye. Kids, you heard it. Episode 2, Magical Staircase and the Himmaphan Forest. It all started when I met a famous fortune teller who told me of the magical staircase hidden in the Himmaphan Forest. She told me the whereabouts of the hidden location, gave me directions, but also she warned me of the perils and dangers I must face. There, in the woods, spirits guarded the secret staircase. Also, animals, dogs, magical creatures, some small type of monsters. But I was up for the challenge. I took the directions, and here is my story. Kids, it's about a 2-hour ride to the Himmaphan Forest. So let's see if we can get there before dark. Hold on. So I'm stopping at the second market here, and you can see that. Ladies and gentlemen, some flowers here for the tourists. Get out of here. Almost there. It's about 15 minutes from here.
Kids, I pulled over on the side of the road here. There's a bunch of different forks in the road, and I'm not sure if we took the right path or not. So I'm just trying to get my bearings as far as where the sun is setting and so forth. So hold tight. It's pretty creepy in here. We're in the middle of the jungle. Kids, I think we made it. We're down at the bottom of the staircase. So kids, we made it here, and I'm not sure if you can see because it's pretty dark. We have to go all the way up there, so let's get moving. Alright, so it looks like we're good. Kids, now that we've been granted entrance into the secret place, we're going to go ahead and climb those stairs. I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's probably about 500 stairs. So let's get moving. We're about halfway there, kids. We got one more level to go, kids. All the way up to the top. That's it. Yep, that's what she said. Let's go up there and learn about the comma staircase. Kids, before we get started with the comma staircase behind me, let's do a quick review of commas in general and a complete sentence. So, let's talk about one comma. if we have one comma in a complete sentence, a comma really just connects two components of a sentence together and links them together. An independent clause and a dependent clause. Let's take a look at the sentence above here. I am in the Himmaphan forest, comma, a creepy place. The first part, I am in the Himmaphan forest, that's an independent clause, and that is just like a complete sentence. The second part, a creepy place, that is a dependent clause and is a fragment. The job here of the dependent clause, and this is the secret for tonight, the dependent clause is there to give you more information about what you just said earlier in the independent clause. Lots of times, what's right before the comma, that's going to be usually the most important thing, and then what's after the comma would be the get the more information about it. You see how a creepy place gives you more information about the Himmaphan forest? And believe me, this place is freaky. If you kids were here, you would definitely think I'm crazy. This place is very creepy, but very secret, and you'll see that in the next part here when we get into the comma staircase. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the comma staircase. Kids, let's take a look at the first example for the comma staircase. Here it is. The Tao Cham are elders, comma. We go down to the next step and look at the next component of the sentence. The first component you saw there, the Tao Cham are elders, that's an independent clause, and now you see dependent clauses. Remember, a dependent clause gives you more information about what you just said earlier in the independent. In particular, usually it will be the word right before the first comma. See it? Elders. Keep that in mind, kids. So what does the next component say? It says, selected from the wisest and most congenial. When you're wise, you're one of the elders. When you're congenial, congenial means getting along. When you get along, that takes experience. You're an elder. Look at it real close. That's a dependent clause. It gives you more information about what you just said earlier in the independent clause. In particular, the most important thing there is elders. Let's go down the stairs and take a look at the next clause. The next clause says, caring for the well-being of nature. Who cares for the well-being of nature? The elders. Does that make sense? Elders taking care, well-being of nature. Who makes the laws to protect our natural environment? Usually it's older people. Kids, probably not. Look at that. That's a dependent clause. It gives you more information about the independent, in particular up there. Elders, kids. Boom. Boom. Let's go down to the next clause. It says, with knowledge of united community bonds. Who has knowledge? The elders have knowledge. Does that make sense? Community bonds. Community bonds. How do you bond together and make people united? By having somebody with superiority that has knowledge that you respect. It says the same thing. That is more information about the elders. Go down the sentence. Take a look at the next clause. Here it is. They encompass the aspects to keep homeostasis between village life. They refers to who? You guessed it. Talks about the elders again. Homeostasis means keeping things static, keeping things level, keeping things good, clear, making sure there's no problems. No problems in the village. Who is there to keep the village from having problems? Usually the person that's in charge. And the person in charge, an elder. We go down to the next component. And the next component, the last part of our sentence says, the forest and the spirits who protect both. Who is going to protect the forest? The elders. And who is going to protect the spirits? The elders will protect the spirits in the forest, protecting both. An elder is there to protect kids. Look at this real close. Remember, independent clause, comma, dependent, 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 dependent. Just look back at what you just started earlier and say, don't get lost. The forests and the spirits, that's all going back to that independent clause there. Kids, example number 1 for the comma staircase. Kids, remember, the job of a dependent clause is there just to give you more information about what you just said earlier. So if you get lost, look back at the previous dependent clause or go all the way back to the independent clause itself and try and figure out from context what they're talking about. You can't just start talking about something new in a sentence. If that's the case, you put a period there and start a brand new sentence. Kids, let's take a look at example number 2 for the comma staircase here. And I'm giving you tough sentences. That's information that you probably have no idea what it's talking about, but this is great because you already know what it's going to say. Here's the first component, the independent clause. It says the Tao Cham's role is closely linked with the Pu Ta forced spirits of protection. That is an independent clause. What's to the left of the comma there is the word spirits of protection. So when we take that information and go down to the next step, keep that in mind. They symbolize all sacred institutions in the community. Who is they? They refers to the spirits of protection. We go down to the next stair and take a look here. It says spirits of the place. Spirits of the place are they, and they are spirits of protection. You see that? You just keep repeating, giving you more information about the same thing. Go down to the next stair. With ordinary celestial beings, Thwada, that happens to be a male angel. That male angel is a spirit that's sacred, that's there to protect. Look at that real close. Spirits of protection is repeated straight through the whole sentence. Spirit is something sacred in the community. It's a spirit, the community, and place is repeated. Celestial being is a Scooby-Doo for a spirit. In particular, this is a specific example of that spirit that's there to protect. Now here's where it gets tough. And this is just basically, we have to assume, the city pillars. In Asia, city pillars are put up to protect people that live in the city. You've seen this before. There's the Chinese dragons or the lions that sit in the front of some type of a building. In Thailand, we have city pillars, and on those pillars is inscription of celestial beings, which are spirits, which are symbolizing sacred institutions. In this particular case, a sacred institution would be Buddhism. And those spirits are there to protect. Look at that real close. Let's review the sentence as we go through. The Tao Cham's role is closely linked with the Pu Ta forest spirits of protection. They symbolize all sacred institutions in the community. Spirits of the place. Other ordinary celestial beings, Thwada. The city pillars have inscriptions of the spirits that are there to protect the people in the city. Ma'isak. Ma'isak is the inscription of a female holding her hands together in front of her, and it's on the pillars, very common in Southeast Asia. And she happens to be a spirit that's there to protect. See that? Keeps being repeated. And village pillars. So a village is a small version of a city. A city pillar and a village pillar are the same thing. It's just a different location. City's bigger than a village. Let's go all the way back up and quickly review the comma staircase example 2. Here it is again. The Tao-Cham's role is closely linked with the Puta forest spirits of protection. We learned from the first sentence that the Tao-Cham are the elders, and the elders are there to protect. So you see that the forest spirits are also there to protect. They symbolize all sacred institutions in the community. That's the spirits. Spirits of the place. That's a general overview of the city, the village, the forest, everywhere. Other ordinary celestial beings. Thwada, that's a male angel who is there to protect, who's a spirit. The city pillars contain inscriptions of angels or spirits that are there to protect the people in the city. Ma'isak is the female version of the angel. She's got her hands together. She's a spirit who's there to protect. And the village pillars, which is the same thing as a city pillar. Village pillars also contain inscriptions of spirits who are there to protect, just like the elders. See this comma staircase, kids? These are all dependent clauses that lead you back up the staircase to the independent clause, which is talking about spirits of protection. Kids, example number 2, comma staircase. Kids, so there you have it. It's the comma staircase. Remember, independent clause, comma, dependent, 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 dependent. It's going to say the same thing. You got to just go back, look at the previous dependent clause. If you get lost, look back and take a look at your independent clause and see what the heck they're talking about up there, because the dependent clauses is just adding on more information. Let's get out of here. That's it for the comma staircase. Kids, also, if you take a look up here, very special night tonight, full moon. Turn the camera off. Kids, I knew I heard something. Look, it's a giant 14-inch dukkha. It's like a monster gecko. Take a look at him. Thais believe that they're ghosts. Dukkha. Dukkha. Akil, are you there? Good. Did you bring your tennis racket? You may need it to whack some monsters. Kids, do you see it? There's something in the woods. I heard it. There, look. You see, it's got yellow eyes. It's staring right at me. Let's get the heck out of here. Thanks for watching, kids. The comma staircase. See you next time. Let's get out of here.